ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا ربي أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مدحيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام: يا أمين وحي الله، إنهم نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهمومون إلا وفرج الله هما، ولا مغمومون إلا وكشف الله غما، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
صلوات. It's yet another day, feeling all alone. Without your presence, I just can't go on. My eyes are searching for you everywhere. After the end of the Father prayer, O Son of Hassan, my beloved Imam of the talking Quran, accept my salam. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla. The darkness of lies and deceit has penetrated through my heart. Satanic forces of the world and swept me from the right path. I feel that I've forgotten when the pathway has started. My heart is full of pursuits and desires. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla. The tyrants of the world with mischief and corruption, they exploded our women and innocent children. They're spreading injustice nation after nation for their own selfish needs, their own selfish reasons. By know, O Imam, that when you reappear, there will always be peace and there will be no fear. But I can't bear to hear the heartbeat of time. But I can't bear to hear the heartbeat of time. Would the Savior of mankind please show us a sign? O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla. I'm worried when the time comes I might turn away. So hold me by hand and please show me the way to be one of the pure and chosen companions, so that I can swear the oath of allegiance. I'll give everything that I love in God's name to avenge the blood of your grandfather Hussein. Every step of the way, my dream will come true. On my last breath, O Master, I call out to you. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to die by your side. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to die by your side. Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Allah Jal, Ya Mawla. Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of Wessex Jamaat, Khushali Mubarak to all mu'mineen on the Wiladat of our living 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi, Ajalallahu Ta'ala Faraja. Just a few announcements. The Ladies Committee of Wessex Jamaat are excited and have the pleasure of inviting all our sisters and children to attend a Milad program in celebration of the birth of the holy personalities. This Jashan event will include a skit on active intidar, mushaira and a children's parade, and will be held on this Sunday, the 12th of March at 2 p.m. All of the sisters and children are invited to attend and participate. And if you will be attending, kindly register using the link circulated by email to assist with preparations. If you're interested in contributing towards the program, please contact the treasurer, Sister Zara Asharia Ramani. Understanding Quranic Arabic, an online course for gents. As the holy month of Ramadan nears, there is no better time to seek to increase our connection with the Holy Quran. Following the success of the ladies course, we are delighted to be able to offer a weekly online course for gents designed to help participants understand key Islamic concepts by developing an understanding of Quranic terms. The beauty of this course is that it goes beyond the simple translation to allow you to develop a deeper understanding of the Holy Book, which will provide an enhanced flavor to your daily Quran recitation. The course will be delivered online by Brother Ali Hussain Ali Muhammad and will be held every Wednesday night, commencing on Wednesday the 22nd of March, which will inshallah coincide with the first night of Shahru Ramadan. The course will consist of 12 sessions, each lasting 1 hour, and there's a fee of £30, which covers the entire course. To enroll onto this course and for payment details, kindly complete the registration form that was circulated by email and WhatsApp. And for any further queries, do not hesitate to contact the Secretariat at info@almahdi.org.uk. There is also a request, if any one of you are interested in reciting du'as, especially in the month of Ramadan, or any recitation, there's various du'as and there's a few slots that are still available. Kindly email info@almahdi.org.uk with your requests, but please try to do this by 2 p.m. this Friday. We have received, and we regret to inform you, the sad demise of Marhuma Rubab Banu Aliaskar Nur Muhammad, daughter of Dost Muhammad Hassan Ali, who passed away today in London. Marhuma was the sister-in-law of Muhammad Bhai Nur Muhammad. Salatul Mayat and burial will be prayed tomorrow, Thursday the 9th of March 2023 at 10 a.m. Mu'mineen are requested to recite Surah Fatiha for the marhum and recite Salatul Wahshat or Salatul Hadiya Mayyat tomorrow, Thursday the 9th, after Maghribain prayers. Al-Fatiha. Inshallah, we'll be going ahead with the majlis now. I'd like to invite to the mimbar Mullah Mujahid Sharif. Let's welcome him with 3 loud salawat.
can have two reciters sitting together. Remember, mashallah. على أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات الفاتحة بسم الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والجنة للمطيعين والنار للعاصين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وأعز المرسلين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وبآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه المبين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يريدون ليطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم. I have recited the 8th verse of Surah As-Saf, which is the 61st chapter of the Holy Quran. Beautiful words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and deep. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. And they desire to put out the light of Allah with their mouths. وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ. But Allah will perfect His light even though the faithless should be averse. In this verse, the term Nurullah, which means the light of Allah, according to Mufassirin, refers to several things. It refers to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the religion of Islam. It refers to the Holy Quran, which was sent down for the guidance of mankind. It refers to the guides who were sent for the guidance of mankind. All the prophets, including the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, and the imams from his progeny. Throughout the history, we will find that in every time and in every society, there have always been a group of people a group of powerful elements who have strived to subdue the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to achieve this, they applied different techniques and methods. Some of those techniques were soft and some were harsh. When it comes to soft techniques, it's making mockery of religion to put people off the deen of Allah. Or using bribery, bribing people so that they leave the deen of Allah, they leave following the guides of Allah and come towards them. And they, when were unsuccessful in these soft techniques, they applied harsher and aggressive techniques, such as bringing about social injustice, causing oppression, or causing wars and killing the people. Even though all these techniques, soft or harsh and aggressive, may be overwhelming for us, we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse is actually making mockery of their combined efforts. He says, يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. And they desire to put out the light of Allah with their mouths. But the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is such that it has always prevailed and will continue to prevail. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ. But Allah will perfect His light even though the faithless are averse. So this is the power of Allah. And we will find that there have been people who have been messing around with the qudrah, with the taqah, with the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without success in all times. One of the examples that has been cited in the Holy Quran is the encounter of Prophet Musa alayhi salam with Fir'aun. History tells us that Fir'aun was a very powerful ruler. And his incredible power led him to a height of arrogance where he even declared himself to be God. And what he did in his society with his subjects is that he divided them into groups and tribes and treated the Bani Israel at the lowest level. He made them as his servants and slaves. Prophet Musa alayhi salam belonged to this tribe of Bani Israel. One day his magicians informed him that a male child will be born in Bani Israel who will be the cause of your destruction and the destruction of your entire kingdom. When he heard this, he immediately ordered that all the male children in Bani Israel should be killed. And following his instruction, thousands of infants, male children, were massacred, were killed in that society. Inna Fir'auna ala fil ard. Quran says, indeed, Fir'aun exalted in the land. وَجَعَلَ أَهْلَهَا شِيَعًا يَسْتَضْعِفُ طَائِفَةً مِّنْهُمْ. And he made groups and divisions and tribes in his people, abasing one of them. And that is in reference to Bani Israel, يُذَبِّحُ أَبْنَاءَهُمْ وَيَسْتَحِي نِسَاءَهُم. Massacring their male children and sparing the lives of their women. إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. Indeed, he was one of the agents of corruption. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about this. Fir'aun thought that with his incredible power which he had, through which he had claimed to be God, he would be able to fight against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to go and counter the power and the qudra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What happened to him? Allah made a mockery of him. When Musa alayhi salam was born, his mother feared that he too will be killed like the other male children of Bani Israel. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired her to put Musa alayhi salam in a basket and cast him in the river. And he was picked up by none other than the wife of the Pharaoh, the wife of Pharaoh, who insisted that his life should be spared and that she would raise him. Thus we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala got Prophet Musa alayhi salam to be raised in the house of Pharaoh, who was actually looking out and watching out for Musa to kill him. And this is the same Musa who eventually destroyed Pharaoh and his entire kingdom. He wanted to blow the light of Allah, to put out the light of Allah with his mouth. My brothers, my sisters, tonight we have gathered here to celebrate the birth of the master of our age, our 12th living Imam, Imam Sahibul Amr Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. The birth of our 12th Imam is just as miraculous as the birth of Musa alayhi salam. Just as Pharaoh was informed that a male child will be born in Bani Israel who will be the cause of your destruction, and that led him to kill the male children of Bani Israel. Predictions about the birth of Al-Mahdi was prevalent in the society, that a child will be born in the progeny of the Holy Prophet, who will go into in an occultation, and when he re-emerges, he will يَمْلَأُ الْأَرْضَ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا بَعْدَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. He is going to fill this earth with justice and equality after it was fraught with inequality and oppression. There are numerous traditions in this regard from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. And every Imam who came talked about our 12th Imam. In fact, there are narrations recorded by both the Shias and the Sunnis. Famous tradition. There is a difference between us and them, but we both believe that Mahdi will come. The only difference is that they believe that Mahdi will be born, and we say that he is already born. The hadith of Rasulullah in which he says that a child will be born in my progeny. According to another hadith, a child will be born in the progeny of my daughter Fatima, who will go into occultation, he will go into ghaiba, and when he re-emerges, يَمْلَأُ الْأَرْضَ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا بَعْدَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. He is going to fill this earth with justice and equality after it had been fraught with injustice and oppression. So the Prophet talked about, the prediction was there already in the Muslim society. And practically every Imam also talked about this. For example, it is mentioned that Da'b al-Khuza'i, we must have heard his name. Da'b is known as Sha'ir of the Ahlul Bayt, a great poet of the Ahlul Bayt. He once came in the presence of our 8th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa al-Rada, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Imam asked him to recite some couplets, to recite some ash'ar. So he began, and one of the couplets which he recited in the presence of our Imam was خروج إمام لا محالة واقع يخرج على اسم الله بالبركات. This is one of his couplets. خروج إمام لا محالة واقع. The emergence of an Imam is an undeniable truth. he will rise, يَقُومُ عَلَى إِسْمِ اللَّهِ بِالْبَرَكَاتِ, by the name of Allah with all his blessings. As soon as he spoke this, Imam stopped him and asked him, Da'bal, tell me, do you know who this Imam is? Da'bal said, Yabna Rasulullah, I know only what you tell us. Thereafter the Imam told him, he said, Da'bal, listen to me carefully. After me, my son Muhammad will be the Imam. After him, his son Ali will be the Imam. After him, his son Hassan will be Imam. And after Hassan will be Al-Qa'im. Having said this, Imam Rida alayhi salam stood up from his place, placed his hand over his head, bowed down, and for 3 times he said, Ajjalallahu faraja, Ajjalallahu faraja, Ajjalallahu faraja. Now we understand that this practice of placing our hands over our heads when the name of Imam is uttered and bowing down in respect and saying Ajjalallahu faraja, where it has come from, it is known as Sunnatur Radawiyya, the tradition of our 8th Imam. So we find that the predictions were already there in the Muslim society, and it was worrisome for the rulers of the time. They were concerned about it, especially when it came to the time of our 11th Imam, Mu'tamid, the Abbasid ruler who was there at the time, knew that any time after this person, the Mahdi is expected. So he too, just like Pharaoh had done, came up with his own schemes, with his own techniques. One of the techniques which he applied was to isolate our 11th Imam from his spouse, so that he should not have any relation with his wife and Mahdi should not be born. This is what he did. He put our Imam in detention. He imprisoned him. Lekin जिसे अल्लाह रखे उसे कौन चखे? One who is protected by Allah, नूर हक शमे इलाही को बुझा सकता है कौन? जिसका हामी हो खुदा उसको मिटा सकता है. He put our Imam in detention, and suddenly an incident occurred. Samarra was struck with famine, a severe famine, not a drop of rain came. And people were ta'ban, they were tired, they were exhausted. The heat of Iraq, the heat of Samarra. They did everything possible for the rain, to an extent that they gathered outside the city of Samarra and prayed together that special prayer which is known as Salatul Istisqa, which is normally recited for rain, but nothing happened. So once they were there outside the city praying to Allah for the rain, suddenly a Christian priest appeared, and he said to them that your prayers are not been sanctioned, your prayers are not been accepted. You wait and watch. I am going to pray, and Allah is going to pour rain. He is going to send rain. Thereafter he lifted his hands towards the sky, and suddenly a cloud appeared above him. Suddenly a cloud appeared above him, and it rained little. Now seeing this, Muslims were shocked, they were surprised. We who are on the true path have been praying, we prayed Salatul Istisqa, nothing happened, and here is a Christian. Some of them even began to suspect their own deen, their own religion, and it happens nowadays. It happens. I remember a time when that Ganpati idol in Hindu mandir had started sucking milk. I don't know if you remember. Children don't know about this, but it happened about some 20 years ago, I believe. And people flocked to the temples to witness this. Amongst them were our people. Our people. Let us go and see. And some of them came back with their iman weakened in them. How can this be possible? So you find that Muslims were there who were baffled by this, and they said, how can this be possible to talk about this reached Mu'tamid? Mu'tamid became worried. Not that he was worried about religion. He was worried about his own rulership because he was regarded as the Khalif of the Muslimin, and he didn't want to lose that. He had power over the Muslim land. So he immediately gathered his counselors, his ministers, his scholars, and conferred the matter with them. What should we do? Nobody could offer a solution to him. Nobody. There was one courtier, a person present there. He said, I have a suggestion. There is a solution to this problem that can be given by only one person. They asked, who is that person? He said, the person who you have put in detention, who is in your prison, Mu'tamid. He is Hassan, son of Ali. That is our 11th Imam. And immediately Mu'tamid realized that how true is this. Because deep down, he understood, he knew that these are the divine guides. They are the ones, if they were to stand up on a musalla, a mountain would move. So immediately Mu'tamid said that he should be called, and it is said that when Imam arrived in the court of Mu'tamid, for the first time Mu'tamid rose from his throne to welcome the Imam, brought him and made him sit next to him, and then briefed him about what had transpired. Imam smiled and he said, this is a small problem, I will solve it for you. He said, ask the Muslims to gather outside the city of Samarra and ask the Christian priest to also come. When they had all gathered there, Imam alayhi salam arrived and he asked the Christian priest to pray. As soon as he lifted his hands towards the sky, everybody witnessed there, including the Imam, that cloud came over him, and Imam told him, stop. Came to him, asked him to open his fingers. When he opened, there was a small piece of lost bone from the body of one of the previous prophets that was hidden between his fingers. Imam took that bone and placed it respectfully in a handkerchief, and then asked that Christian priest to pray again. This time when he lifted his hand, nothing happened. Imam then turned towards Mu'tamid and the Muslims who were there, and he informed them that this piece of bone belongs to one of the prophets, and if it is exposed under the sky, cloud will gather and it will also rain. This is the respect of that prophet. And this is what he has been using. And thereafter the Imam said, now I will pray for the rain. Allahu Akbar. As soon as the grandson of the Holy Prophet raises his hand, clouds begin to gather from all these sides. From all these sides. Imam turns towards the Muslims and tells them, go to your homes. As soon as they reach their homes, it rains and it rains. It pours heavily. After this incident, how could Mu'tamid send back the Imam to prison? There would be a revolt. People would rebel against him. What are you doing? This is the man who has saved us, who has saved our deen, who has saved Islam. He had no choice but to send with honor and with respect our Imam back to his house. And the historians write, it is after this incident that Narjis Khatun Salamullahi alayha, the mother of our 12th Imam, conceived our Imam. And he was born on the 15th of Shabaan in the year 255 or 256 AH in Samarra. So this is about the birth of our Imam. And on this auspicious occasion of the birth of our Imam, we extend our sincere greetings and felicitations to him and to our mujtahideen, to our maraja, and to all the Shi'as and followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam. One of the questions which many people ask with regard to our Imam. Our Imam, as we all know, is in ghaiba. He is in occultation. His occultation were of two kinds. One was ghaibat sughra, the minor occultation, which lasted for some time, and then he went into ghaibat kubra, where he will remain until he is commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to emerge. The question many people ask is that during the ghaibah of our Imam, how important it is for us to connect with him, and how should we connect? It's a question which many people ask. The answers to this question has been given by the ulama. But just a day or two before tonight's majlis, I was following the lecture of one of our greatest scholars who is alive, His Eminence Ayatullah al-Uzama Sheikh Wahid al-Khurasani. May Allah protect and prolong his life. He was talking about Imam Zamana. And he raised this issue. He said, this is a very common question people ask. The answer which Ayatullah gave, that is what I want to briefly share with you, but in my own words, so that even the children can understand. He says that people ask about how important it is for us to connect with the Imam of our time, and what are the things which we do so that we get and remain connected to the Imam of our time. His Eminence says that the answer to this question has been provided to us in the Holy Quran itself. He says that after Surah Al-Hamd in the Holy Quran, the second chapter begins, which is Surah Al-Baqarah. And in the opening verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, now I want your attention, because if you skip, you will be lost. So I want you to listen to me carefully. And as I said, the minbar is new, I'm high, and I can see who is awake and who is asleep. He says that the answer to this question has been given in the opening verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Alif Lam Mim, that is the book in which there is no doubt, and it is a guidance for the muttaqeen, for those who are wary and conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After describing the greatness of this book by using a pronoun, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, that book, Allah says, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions certain things. His Eminence says that to expound on those things that have been mentioned in these verses would take an entire book, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is then taking us to a next level altogether. However, our focus should be on the first statement, that is ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, that is the book. That is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The book, this is Holy Quran. What we ought to understand is Noor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A very important point which we need to understand. It is what? The Noor. It is the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the names which Allah has given to the Holy Quran is of Noor. He has mentioned about it. And even in many traditions, including Nahjul Balagha, we'll find that Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, in some places when he is referring to the Holy Quran, he is referring to it as Noor, as light. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has described himself as Noor as well. Allahu Noor samawati wal ard. Allah is the Noor, He is the light of what? Of the heavens and the earth. Now this light which Allah is talking about, is it a physical light? Or the mention is metaphor? There is a metaphor meaning of this light. The light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He is talking about it, it actually means that He is the main and only source of knowledge and guidance. This is one of the interpretations. The light, the physical light which we see in this life, that of the sun, the stars and other objects, these are but reflections of the divine light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it comes to Noorullah, that Allah is Noor, One of the interpretations which the Mufassirin give is that it means that he is the one and only and the main source of knowledge and guidance. Therefore, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shines His light upon anybody, then the heart of such a person will be illuminated with knowledge and guidance. This is what it means. Now, that Allah who has described Himself as Nur, Allahu Nuru samawati wal ard, Allah is the Nur of the heavens and the earth, Himself says in the Holy Quran that this book is Nur. That this book that has been sent down is Nur. And we find that in Surah At-Taghabun, which is the 64th chapter of the Holy Quran, verse number 8, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about His beloved Prophet, He says, فَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِهِ وَعَزَّرُوهُ وَنَصَرُوهُ وَاتَّبَعُوا النُّورَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ مَعَهُ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. And those who believe in Him, that is, believe in the Holy Prophet, they honor Him, they help Him, and they follow the Nur, the light which has come with Him, then they are the ones who will be felicitous. So we find that in this ayah, in this verse of the Holy Quran, Allah has called the Holy Quran as what? As light. Why? Because it contains direct words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nobody else. And that is why it is Nur. And if we refer to the traditions, we will find that there are numerous traditions in which Quran, Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, has said, alaykum bi kitabillah fa innahu al-hablul mateen wan nurul mubin. You must adhere to the Holy Quran, for indeed it is the firm rope. That is a rope that connects you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa nurul mubin, and a manifest light. That is, if you follow the Holy Quran, you will remain on a path that has been illuminated by none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself. In another riwayah, in another narration from none other than our second Imam, Imam Hasan al-Mujtaba salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, he says, إن هذا القرآن مصابيح النور وشفاء الصدور. Indeed, this Quran contains what? Lamps of lights. Lights of guidance, and شفاء الصدور, cure for the hearts, cure for the what we call breasts. This is what. So we find that the Holy Quran has been referred to as what? As Nur. I hope you are awake, because we have to sail on a journey. Then His Eminence carries on and says, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are two. It says one is known as Kitab Tadwini, the book of existence, which is the textual book in reference to Quran Majid, the honorable book. And the other book is Kitab Takwini, the book of creation, which refers to a person in whom the entire Quran has been personified. Has been personified. If you look at that person, you will find that the commandments of the Holy Quran are seen in all His deeds. The ethics and the characteristics of the Holy Quran are reflected in His characteristic. And the insight of the Holy Quran is embedded in His logic. Such a person is Kitabullah al-Natiq, the talking Quran. And in our day and age, that talking Quran is none other than my master of our age, Imam al-Hujjah Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And we will find that again the Holy Quran and the traditions are talking about this as well. For example, in the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at one point says, فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَالنُّورِ الَّذِي أَنزَلْنَا. Therefore, believe in Allah and in His Prophet and the Noor which we have sent down. When it comes to tafsir of this particular verse, we'll find the majority of Muslims says that the Noor in this verse refers to only the Holy Quran. But the narrations which we have received from the Ahlul Bayt alayhim wassalam clearly states that the Imam of the Ahlul Bayt are included in this Noor. Like for example, a person by the name of Abu Khalid al-Kabuli, probably he was from Afghanistan. I don't know if Kabul was there in those days. But this person comes to our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, and asks him, he says, Yabna Rasulillah, what does this Noor refer to in this particular verse of the Holy Quran? And the Imam looks at him and he says, Ya Aba Khalid, Wallahi, by Allah. Imam is now taking an oath that the Noor in this verse is in reference to the Imams from the progeny of Prophet Muhammad till the day of judgment. They are the ones who have been referred to as Noor, that is as the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ayatollah Nasir Makarim Shirazi, in his Tafsir Namuna, when he is discussing this verse, he says that there are all these riwayats that clearly state from the Ahlul Bayt that in this verse, Noor refers to the Imams of Ahlul Bayt because they are Quran Natik, they are the talking Quran. Just as Quran illuminates the path of guidance for us, so do the Imams of Ahlul Bayt. And then he quotes a hadith from none other than our fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, in which Imam says, وَهُمُ الَّذِينَ يُنَوِّرُونَ قُلُوبُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. They are the ones who illuminate the hearts of the believers. So my brothers and my sisters, Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is Noor. Quran is of two kinds. There is Kitab-e Samid, the silent book, which is the Quran, and then there is Quran Natik, the talking Quran. Our duty is that in this life we should strive, we should work hard to connect ourselves with both these Quran, the silent Quran and the talking Quran, and benefit from their rays because they are light, and get illuminated on the path of knowledge and guidance. It is very, very important that we do this. And how can we do this? How can we illuminate our hearts through the rays of Quran and through the rays of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam? Two things are required. One is eyes. We require eyes. A person, let me give you an example. The most powerful source of light today is what? It's the sun, isn't it? Now, if you want to see the sun, you require two things. One is eyes. That is why a blind person cannot differentiate between day and night. Isn't it true? Because he cannot see. So you need eyes. And if you have eyes, there is a possibility that still you will not be able to see the sun if there is a screen or barrier in front of your eyes. Isn't it true? Similarly, if we want to benefit from the rays of the Holy Quran and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, two things are required. Eyes, that is eyes of what? Eyes of reason and thought. That is ma'rifat, cognizance of Quran, cognizance of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And we must remove the barrier of disobedience and sins before our eyes. And it is only then that we will be able to benefit from the light of Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. Warna sari zindagi guzar jayegi. We will spend entire life reciting the Holy Quran, attending the majalis, reciting the marasiyah, the nawha, the qasaid. Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam will never penetrate into our hearts. There will be no change. We will be the same. For 40 years, 50 years, we have been attending the majlis. If we want to know that we have really benefited from Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, let us look at ourselves and ask, are we what we were before? If we are the same, then tuko pale pale, we are still there. We have not moved forward. We have not benefited. Imam alayhi salam. It is very important. He is the living Imam of our time. What we should strive. And one does not has to see the Imam with his naked eyes in order to benefit from his rays. Doesn't require to see. You see, this center has walls. They have got doors and windows that are inside and they are outside as well. The outside wall, doors and windows face the sun. From morning till night, do they benefit anything? The walls, the doors, the windows, do they benefit anything? They don't benefit. They don't benefit anything. But deep in the mountain, in the depth of the earth, 70 or 100 meters down, mysteriously there is a stone that receives the rays of the sun. And that stone then turns into a gem, a shining gem. And that is what we call Fayruza, turquoise. This is how we need to connect ourselves with the Imam. We don't have to physically see him. And once we connect ourselves with the Imam, the rays that will illuminate our hearts will take us to a different level of knowledge and wisdom altogether. I do not want to take much of your time, but have we ever thought, today when we mention some of the incidents from the lives of our great scholars, it is astonishing to our minds, isn't it? When we talk about Ayatollah Bahjat, for example, Ayatollah Ruhullah Musavi al-Khomeini, Allama Tabatabai, Ayatollah Burujardi, the incidents that occurred that are mind-boggling, astonishing to our intellect. We find that there are people who are not willing to believe, it's not possible for a person to have that kind of knowledge. It's because we ourselves have not reached that level whereby we can absorb such realities. People who have connected themselves to the Holy Quran and the Ahlul Bayt to a level that is required by them have attained. I will just share one example and then complete my majlis. We have all heard the name of Hussein ibn Ruh. Hussein ibn Ruh was the third Naib representative of our 12th Imam. Imam in Ghaibat Sugra had 4 representatives. Hussein ibn Ruh, when we write Ariza today, and we go to throw in the river or in the sea, we use his wasila, Hussein ibn Ruh. Isn't it? That it is through the wasila of Hussein ibn Ruh, we are conveying this Ariza to our Imam, Hussein ibn Ruh. It was not just picked up by the Imam and chosen by the Imam to become his representative. This person was enlightened. His heart was illuminated with the light of the Imam, and this is what happens to a person who actually connects himself with the Imam. Hussein ibn Ruh, Sheikh Saduq alayhi rahmah, who is known as Ra'isul Muhaddithin, the chief of the narrators, he has mentioned this, that a person by the name of Muhammad ibn al-Hasan Sayrufi used to live in Balkh. Balkh. I was trying to search this place, Balkh. Now this incident has been mentioned by Ayatollah Wahid al-Khurasani. Balkh is in the northern part of Afghanistan. He lived there. The Shias there once came to him and they brought their assets of Khums to him and they said that you go to Baghdad and take this to Hussein ibn Ruh, who is the representative of the Imam. Muhammad ibn Hassan Sayrufi converted those assets into bullions of gold and silver and then set out in that long journey from Balkh to Baghdad. He first arrived at a spot hundreds of miles away called Sarakh. He camped there, stayed for a night to rest. In the morning, when he wanted to continue his journey, he realized that one of the bullions is lost. It's lost. Of Homs. He searched for it. Couldn't find it, so he carried on with his journey until he arrived in Hamadan. When he arrived in Hamadan, it occurred to him that this is mal of Imam, mal-e-Imam hai. You know, this wealth belongs to Imam, not to me. I have lost it, so I am responsible. So what he did, he converted his own property into bullion and replaced it to take it to Hussein ibn Ruh. When he finally arrived in the presence of Hussein ibn Ruh and presented the homes which he had brought, converted into bullions of gold and silver, here is a man, the naib of our Imam, sat there and inspected each and every bullion that was brought until he came to the one that this person had converted of his own property. Hussein ibn Ruh took that out and kept it aside. He said, this does not belong to us, it belongs to you. Hussein ibn Ruh, he said, this belongs to you. He said, now, I have lost it. He said, yes, I know you have lost it in Sarah. On your way back, go back to Sarah and go to the same place where you had encamped for one night and look for it. He directed him where to search for, and you will find this bullion. Take it with you back to Balkh. Next year when you come and bring homes, you bring this bullion with you, and let me inform you that when you come again, I will not be alive. The deputy after me who will be there, you should give this bullion to him. This is Hussein ibn Ruh. Was not an ordinary person. When the light of Imam shines in the heart of a person, this is what a person becomes. There are many things which we can do. My time is finished. I think I've taken more of your time. It's because on the wafat of Imam al-Kazim, I was supposed to recite for 45 minutes and I recited for 30 minutes. So Hamid, I have taken that 15 minutes extra. And then Agha carries on and explains that there are several things. Amongst them, one of the things is namaz on awwal waqt, prayer. If you want to connect with the Imam of your time, make sure that you say your prayers on its prescribed time and do not delay. Obey the commands of Allah, refrain from haram, recite dua ahad. This is what Ayatollah Wahid Khurasani has suggested, and do tawassul of Imam every day in every small action which you perform. Afdalus salam Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
Hassan. Yeah. I think it's, yeah, sorry. أفضل الصلاة محمد وآل محمد. फिदा जानो दिल से है हम तुम पे मौला, ए हादियो महदी इमाम ज़माना. फिदा जानो दिल से है हम तुम पे मौला, ए हादियो महदी इमाम ज़माना. सब मिलके फिदा जानो दिल से है हम तुम पे मौला, ए हादियो महदी इमाम ज़माना. बड़ी आफतें हैं زمانے پہ مولا پریشان شیعہ کہاں جائے مولا. پکارا تمہیں جب ہوا دل جو مضطر، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ. فدا جان و دل سے اے ہم تم پہ مولا، اے ہادی و مہدی. سب مل کے آواز بلند، امام وقت کا قصیدہ ہے پلیز. فدا جان و دل سے اے ہم تم پہ مولا، اے ہادی و مہدی. بلاؤں نے گھیرا نہیں کوئی ساتھی، اندھیرا ہے ہر سو اداسی ہے چھائی. تمہارے قدم سے ہو دنیا منور، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ. فدا جان و دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا، اے ہادی و مہدی. ہمیں علم اور معرفت اب عطا ہو، صداقت بصیرت ہدایت عطا ہو. بچا لینا سرور ہمیں روز محشر، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ. فدا جان دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا، اے ہادی و مہدی. ہے پھیلائے جولی ہم اپنی یہ بر دو، تم اپنے قدم کی ذرا خاک دے دو. ہم آنکھوں سے اپنی لگائیں گے مولا، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ. فدا جان دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا. سب مل کے مہدی. گنہگار ہم تم ہو معصوم طاہر، اب غیبت کے پردے سے آ جاؤ باہر. ہمیں معصیت سے تم آ کے بچانا، ہمیں معصیت سے تم آ کے بچانا، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ. فدا جان دل سے اے ہم تم پہ مولا، رہے ذکر شابر ہر دم سلامت، ملی ہم کو زہرا سے ہے یہ امانت. خیانت سے اس کو ہمیں تم بچانا، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ. فدا جان و دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا، امام. نہ دنیا میں مولا کوئی رنج و غم ہو، مگر غم میں شبیر سے دل فغن ہو، ازائے حسینی سے گونجے زمانہ، ازائے حسینی سے گونجے زمانہ، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ، فدا جان دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا دی، میری آرزو ہے کہ دم تن سے نکلے تو غم میں ہی شبیر کے اشک نکلے، ان آنسو سے تر کفن سب ہو میرا، ان آنسو سے تر کفن سب ہو میرا، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ، فدا جان دل سے، سب مل کے، اے ہم تم پہ مولا، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ، فدا جان دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا، ہمیں کربلا ہو جانا میسر، مدد کی جو مولا ہر دل کی حسرت، زری ہے مقدس سے آنکھیں لگانا، اے ہادی و مہدی امام زمانہ، فدا جان و دل سے ہے ہم تم پہ مولا، اے ہاں افضل الصلاۃ ارشاد فرمائیں پلیز، افضل الصلاۃ محمد و آل محمد، الہی ببیمار دشت بلا جو بیمار ہو جلد پاوے شفا، الہی برائے امام زمان ہمیں حول معاشر سے دے تو امان، قیامت کو معشور ہو باعلی، اٹھے قبر سے کہ ہم یا علی، اے پانچونو مل جہاں چاہتن احمد و علی، زہرا و حسن، شبیر رسلے تا امام زمان، شبیر رسلے تا امام زمان، ایک ایک پہ صدا صلوات پرو، صلوات صلوات و سلام یا امام زمان، فرماؤ ظہور یا امام زمان، صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔
السلام علیک یا رسول اللہ، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، ولا تسأت المعصومين من ذريته علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن أجل الله فرجه وسحر الله مخرجه وزهور. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.